Hey everyone! Today we're going to be making a focaccia, but not just any kind of focaccia, a tom yum flavoured focaccia. It's pillowy soft with a golden crunchy crust, infused with spicy and aromatic flavours of a tom yum broth and a flavoured herb oil. Let's start with the tom yum broth. We're just going to smash some bird's eye chilies, slice some galangal, pare some kaffir lime leaves and bruise some lemongrass. Place everything in a saucepan with some onion. We're also going to add 1 sheet of kombu to flavour the broth with that taste of the ocean. Cover with water. We're making a very strongly flavoured tom yum so the flavour is more pronounced in the focaccia. Let this boil for 20 minutes, then take it off the heat and let it cool completely. Next, let's make our herb oil. In the small saucepan, pour in some canola oil. To this, we're adding some smashed garlic, chilies, kaffir lime leaves and lemongrass. Heat on the stove at the lowest setting. We don't want to fry the ingredients, we just want it to gently infuse the oil. Once you start seeing signs of bubbling, turn off the heat and let it steep for a few hours or in the fridge overnight for the best flavour. To make a focaccia dough, we need some bread flour, salt and yeast. This is some unbleached bread flour. It has a better taste compared to the bleached kind. But if you don't have any bread flour, you can just use regular all-purpose flour. To this flour, we're going to add our instant yeast and then some salt. Salt kills yeast, so be sure not to put them next to each other. With a spatula, we're going to mix the yeast in with the flour and then mix the whole thing together. Make a well in the center of the flour and then we're going to pour in our herb oil and the strained tom yum broth. Let's mix everything together. Some flours absorb more water than others, so the amount that you need varies depending on the type and the brand that you use. You may need to use a little bit more or a little bit less. This is the consistency we're looking for. It should be wet and very sticky. Cover the dough with a damp tea towel. We're going to let the dough sit on the counter for 15 minutes to let the gluten develop on its own. Once that's up, we're going to stretch the dough like this to further develop the gluten. Repeat this step 3 more times, letting the dough rest for 15 minutes between each stretch. Then we're going to oil a clean bowl with a bit of herb oil and transfer the dough into it. Cover and let it ferment overnight or up to 48 hours. The next day, take the bowl out of the fridge and let it warm up for 10 minutes. Then prepare a lined baking tray and pour some of the herb oil. Spread it all around. Now we're going to gently transfer the dough onto the tray. Be careful not to deflate the dough. You can leave it on here just like this and it will flatten out on its own, or gently stretch it to help it along like this. Sprinkle a generous amount of fried shallots on here. We're doing this now so when the dough rises, it will help the shallots stick better. It'll also surround the shallots to protect it from burning later in the oven. We're going to cover the dough with another baking tray and let it proof at room temperature until doubled up in size. About 2 to 4 hours depending on the temperature of your kitchen. While waiting, let's slice some cherry tomatoes to top the focaccia later. Now that the dough has doubled up in size, we can have fun with the toppings. Pour some of the herb oil generously over the top. Don't worry if it starts pooling. Once we dimple the focaccia, the oil will run into the little holes and get absorbed as it bakes. We're going to take some of the garlic we used to infuse the oil with and break it into little pieces. Scatter them all over the top. I'm going to put these chilies on whole. You can skip this step if you don't like things spicy. Next, I'm going to gently place the cherry tomatoes on top. Make sure our fingers are oiled and then we can gently press down to dimple the dough. We want to do this slowly and mindfully. We don't want to degas the entire focaccia and ruin all the hard work we did letting it rise so high. If any bubbles form, that's great. That'll make the texture of the bread extra light and airy. We're also going to press the garlic pieces down to prevent them from burning later. Sprinkle the top with some sea salt and we're ready to bake. Bake for 15 minutes in a preheated oven at 205 degrees Celsius. Then rotate and bake for a further 15 minutes until the surface of the focaccia is golden. Once it's baked, we're going to transfer it to a wire rack to let it cool so the bottom doesn't get soggy. Remove the parchment paper as well. Let it cool completely before cutting. Look how nicely golden this focaccia looks. The fried shallots really takes it to another level. It's crisp on the outside but so soft and squishy inside. Isn't this the perfect bait for focaccia? Serve your focaccia with some more herb oil or make it into a sandwich. Thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more videos just like this one. I'll see you in the next video.